I'm live. Sorry, I'm live. Hi, Marie. You are early. That's okay. We have like 2 minutes. So, you know, whoever's going to join us will join us in a minute anyway. I'm drinking my tea. You can drink your coffee. You have to leave you have to tell your family to leave you alone. I'm glad I can be the person that you go like you go tell your family to leave you alone so you can watch this woman that just talks about patterns. But this week's going to be interesting, I have to tell you, because the many, many outfits that I found in this stack of 90s patterns. It was truly, and you will see what I'm talking about, because there's a couple in here that I'm like, what what were we thinking? Like, why would we, who talked us into wearing this? I blame the fashion industry. Oh, you have teenagers and 2 dogs? Yeah, no, I get it. I don't have kids, but hi, Cybele. Hi, Cybele. I don't have kids, but I have a dog who will not allow me to enter the bathroom. I don't know if anybody has this with their dogs, but like if I close the bathroom door, he he stares at it. So when I open it, he's like, but he also always has to go and come into the bathroom with me. So if I leave the door open even just a little bit, he just noses in and comes in like, "What are you doing?" Like, really? Is this a trick question, dude? What do you think I'm doing? But he's not. I've had many dogs in my life, and all of them were like that. They think there's a secret trapdoor in the bathroom from which you can escape and get away from them. I guess I don't know. Keep in mind, this is the same dog that, given the opportunity, if he's off the leash, he will run away. He comes back, but he wants to go, like, just check something out. Right. And so I'm like screaming because he's not allowed to be off the leash, and, like it's a whole thing. But anyway, it's 2 o'clock. Hey, welcome to my channel. I'm going to take a little sip of tea like I just did, because earlier this week, I don't know if any of you guys read the blurb, I had COVID again, which I was very surprised by, because I swear I had COVID. I was told I had COVID back in October. And way back when, in October, I didn't feel the same way that I did the other times I had COVID. But, I got a note for work. So I was out for work for 4 days. I have off tomorrow. So I'm going to be out of work for a total of 7 days, which is odd. But at the same time, I got so much done. I finished the C&Sos. That means I'm officially done with all the actual clothing patterns. Oh, no, you know what? I was about to lie to you guys. I was going to say I'm actually done with all the clothing patterns from Mrs. Landis, but I'm not, because remember I told you guys I found that stack of kids, like maybe 20, 30 kids patterns that were uncut and were mixed in. So I forgot about those. But hi, Olivia. Is it really cold in Iowa? We're about to get a cold front. Yeah, I know. We're all getting weird weather. It was actually so warm yesterday. I turned off the heat and opened the windows to just air out my apartment. Like once in a while, you need to do that in the winter when it's not super cold, because it was like 55, which is great in the winter, right? So I opened up the windows and I aired it all out, and it was great because I love getting rid of all those smells from food and dogs and whatever else. So it was really nice. So, ooh, yeah, Colorado's rough. I live there. Winters in Colorado can be really rough. Beautiful during the day and brutal at night. That's what Boulder was like. So I don't know. I can't remember where you were, but you might have something similar. So anyway, I had COVID, got all of the C&So patterns done, which is nice because I'm finally done with that, right? So I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing moving forward. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But let's start with some patterns. I did not go to Goodwill on Tuesday because, oh, you're in Colorado Springs. Okay. No, it's, yeah, I know what it's like there. It's the same as it was kind of in Boulder. I did not go to Goodwill on Tuesday because that's the day I actually went to the urgent care and they told me I had COVID, and I felt like crap. So I went home. Now, I did end up going to Goodwill Friday, and I didn't get much, but I did find these, so I'll show them to you guys. there's some craft patterns. So there is a hot stuff. Sorry about the glare. These packages were in good shape, so I decided not to take them off. And it's basically, they're pot holders, right? This handbag, which is the Gracie handbag. And most of these, I think this one was 2007. This one was 2003. Here, I'll show you these handbags again. And this was 2006. But they're all from this Quilts Illustrated, which I'm not. Oh, well, no, this one is Lazy Girl Design, so I'm wrong. And this one's Vanilla House. So I guess they are all different. I'd never heard of any of these. I looked this one up. This apparently very popular. Lots and lots of them. And the price on them was good. So we'll see. I'll make a little bit of money there. I found this, which I thought this was hysterical, in one of the patterns. I can't remember which pattern. If I see it, I might remember if I see it. And I'm trying to see what the date was. Oh, it's Monday, July 31st, 1989. They had this sale. So yeah, I thought that was some interesting ephemera from back in the day. Okay, so let's talk about, I never talked about this pattern. I put it in the thumbnail last week, but I never really talked about it. So yeah, it's a vest. I don't need a vest, but I was really digging these pants. I thought these pants looked so super comfortable. And so I decided to keep this pattern because I really liked those pants. And then this week when I was working on patterns, I found this pattern, which was cut. And I almost put it up online, but it's cut to my size, right? And they're describing it as a split skirt, but it's really giant shorts. And I love a giant short. I also was really liking this jacket, which let me show you the line drawing from the inside on this jacket. It reminds me a lot of, if you guys follow Gertie, she had a similar jacket to this. And I was like, all right, we'll see. Because I do love giant shorts, you know. And then there was this unfortunate pattern. The pattern itself, as you can see, is fine. But if you look at this closely, I believe that is some kind of horrible toxic mold. So I can't sell this. But then here's the pattern, right? Okay, so it's very Star Trek Next Generation. I'm not sure how well it would have sold anyway. I mean, it really, when I looked at it, the first thing I thought of was like the new Star Treks that they did in the 90s. Their uniforms, well, first of all, they were jumpsuits, but remember the uniforms had like the shoulder pieces were different colors and it was like your rank or something. I can't remember. It was black and your unitard color was your rank. I can't remember, but it was pretty funny. Yeah, it is a giant shirt. It's basically a t-shirt, right? With shoulder pads. And then they did the color blocking so that you could look like you were part of Star Trek. But I just don't think I can sell it with that. I might consider selling the pattern separately because the pattern itself was fine. It's just that. So anyway, let's take a look. No, I don't think it was a bob issue. I think it's mold. I really think it's mold. It smelled kind of moldy and it looked kind of moldy. I don't think it was a mouse issue, but you know. Speaking of other YouTubers, by the way, I put a link to another YouTuber. I'm not going to say she's exactly like me. Oh, great. Now it's snowing. Awesome. I'm not going to say she's like exactly like me, but she has a kind of similar energy, I guess. I don't want to sound too hippy dippy, but I really like watching her videos. She's a little zany. I would call her zany. She's a zany gal. And she does all these great sewing videos. She does some knitting videos. She does some videos where she just organizes her sewing room. She organizes her fabric. Apparently she's got another channel where she does baking, which I haven't really watched yet. So, but check her out because I think you guys, if you like me, you'll probably like her. And without further ado, let's get under the way. Now, let's get underway, not under the way. This first group I'm starting with is later 90s. You guys will immediately recognize these patterns because they're so later 90s. Okay, so here's the first one. Yeah. A lot of jumpers. This is just the jumper, no shirt. Later on, you will see there are plenty of them where it's the jumper and the shirt. Oh, you know, before there was cottagecore, there was just all this romantic stuff. I'm getting a lot of glare again. Hold on, let me just adjust this ever so slightly. I'm not wearing gray today. I'm wearing No Pattern Left Behind. I'm wearing that t-shirt. Okay, so this is button front. It's very hard to see, but it's a button front, but it's another jumper because we love jumpers. Oh, and then there was this, and I hate to say this, but I had this suit. Something really similar. Mine, I want to say, okay, please don't come at me on the internet for this, but I'm pretty sure that the jacket was plaid and the skirt was black. I know. He who hath not had bad fashion taste may cast the first stone at me, the first hanger. I didn't have this suit, but I'm pretty sure my mom did. Yeah, this is one of those things you look at and you're like, oh, I remember when everyone had this, right? And these are like pull-on pants, the whole effect. This I thought was so cute, but yeah, not really my style anymore. And here's the liner notes. And this has the top. This is another one, like so many dresses like this. And this was really cute. I really struggled to not keep this one. It's hard to see, but this dress is a really nice, really basic dress. Just a really basic fit and flare dress with a little bit of pleating at the waist that carries up into the bust line, and then just a flutter sleeve. And then there's this, which interesting, right? I think this is an okay dress. The problem is to me, she really looks like she's wearing the couch. She just, she's wearing the fabric from an occasional chair. And then there's the Southwestern look. Do we all remember Southwestern? Remember that? We all were doing Southwestern. Yeah, I think a lot of people's mothers had that one particular outfit. Like, I just really remember it, Okay, here is what I consider the quintessential 90s outfit. The baby doll dress, the baby doll slip dress that you wore over, and I did this, right? Which you wore over the long-sleeved shirt. But in my defense, I wasn't the only one, and this was one of my most comfortable outfits. I used to have, I think it was a black long sleeve, and then the dress, if I remember, had like red flowers on it, like roses, right? On a black background. It looked like this, and I wore it with black tights and my Doc Martens. Raise your hand if you had this outfit, right? I think a lot of us did, right? It was, Yes, right? I did turtlenecks too, and mock turtlenecks, right? Yeah. And I'd go to the club. That was what we wore. You wore the jumpers all through the 80s. I think we all wore jumpers. Jumpers were really like a really big thing in the 80s, which is odd. And not jumpsuits, the actual jumper, like a jumper dress, I wouldn't wear them now either because I think they're too frumpy, but I wore them when I was like 28. Go figure. All right, so there's this dress, which you can't see it because of this dreadful frap. Oh, I remember when these fabrics were popular. Do you remember these? They were the fake quilting fabrics. And they were just so awful. But it was it's a great dress, right? It's just a princess seamed A-line fit and flare. It's a great basic dress. And a horrible, look, it doesn't even do anything for the model. You can tell when the model doesn't look good in the dress that it's not a good idea. Oh, the punk. Yeah, I know exactly the jumper you're talking about. Maria's talking about the corduroy jumper. Everybody had the corduroy jumper, right? I mean, it was like, yeah, absolutely. And I think mine was a mini, and it kind of looked like overalls. I've seen them where they button up. Yeah, we all had the jumper. I confess I had the jumper. Okay, so this, speaking of fake patchwork, I don't even know where to start with this outfit. Yeah. And the top is, I think, designed where you have to actually tie it in the front. I was just like, oh, and see, and here's something else my mom would have worn. Yeah, because we loved a vest. There's, you know what? If I had a dime for every vest in this pile of patterns, I'd have a couple bucks at least. Oh, and here's the funny thing. Some of the stuff in here, like this looks horrible because of the fabric. But like that patchwork dress we were talking about, it's actually a really nice set of separates, just really basic separates. If you were to do them now in a more modern fabric and not in like faux patchwork, or this thing is some kind of weird, it's hard to see. I guess they're supposed to be, well, I thought they were seashells, but they're not. They're just like symbols. And then somehow the skirt is a coordinating, oh, no, just stop. All right, so we have some patterns in here. I'm not even sure where I have them. We'll get to them. That are actually from the 80s, because at some point in time, oh, you know what? It's this stack here. At some point in time, C&So decided we're going to write C&So on our patterns and put giant stripes down the side, as opposed to we're going to put C&So over here on the pattern with giant stripes on the side. So there were several patterns in this grouping that were actually from the 80s. And I didn't realize it, because remember last week I said we did all the 80s. Well, we didn't. And, of course, look at this. This is like 1991. So very early 90s, but yes. And I just don't get it. Because then we have like this one over here is like 1993. So why would you in 1989 decide you're going to change your packaging and then change it back in 1993? And the ones that I found that were from the 80s are literally from 1989. That was another jumper. It was another one of those jumper dresses, by the way. Yes. Le sac dress. Yes, it has no form. It's just straight from the shoulder. All right, this is two pieces. It's not really a suit. It's more like a two-piece dress. I had something so similar to this, and it was like this wild red print. I loved that. Loved that dress. Don't know whatever happened to it, but I thought this was super cute. I think this is one of the ones that's from 89. Let me see. Yep, 89. So cute, right? Just a basic drop waist kind of sundress pattern, And here's another one. We loved a jumper. We loved a jumper almost as much as we loved a vest. Which leads us to our next pattern. Separates with a vest, because you need a vest with all your separates. And this was the skirt. This is you can see the skirt, the t-shirt, and the vest. For that casual elegance that you only get from a vest over a t-shirt. I know. I never, did I wear these? I think I did have one of these in like a navy blue, but I think it had sleeves and you didn't wear a shirt under it. You just wore it as a jumpsuit. I'm actually a little surprised this didn't sell yet. Jumpsuits for me, I guess the young gals like a jumpsuit because they buy them like crazy. Oh, here's the church lady dress, right? You're just so covered up. I call this the Barbara Bush. It's just so matronly. Oh, and suits. I did sell one of the patterns that we looked at last week, by the way. It was one of the drop waist sundresses that had like t-shirt style sleeves. I don't know how to describe it other than, and I already mailed it out. It was very floral, and she had like blonde big hair and stuff. You can't do jumpers. Is it too traumatic for you? All right, this doesn't look like it, but this, when you look at the line drawings, you'll see what I'm talking about. This is very, very 90s does 40s. Can you see the line drawings? How the cut of the suit? Very 1940s in its own way. All right, are you ready? Because here's another jumper for you. Yeah, another drop waist jumper. Marie. with the t-shirt. Oh, and this thing. Yeah, I saw this and I was like, this almost feels like sad to look at, but it also reminded me of an absolutely fabulous movie with Phoebe Cates and Rick Mayall called Drop Dead Fred. That is, to this day, one of my favorite comedies from the 90s. If you haven't seen it, try and find it. I think they have it on YouTube for rental. It's about a woman who is going through a divorce, and her imaginary friend from when she was 6 comes back into her life. And his name is Drop Dead Fred. And it is so funny. It's so funny. It's so full of great inside jokes. It's just great. You guys should all watch it. Oh. See, these are looking very 1980s, aren't they? I think this is another one, late 80s. Yeah, it was so funny, wasn't it? I tell people all the time to watch it. Oh, this is one of the patterns. I remember this pattern was cut. Well, it's kind of a wounded bird. This all gone. All the gaucho, all the culotte, whatever you want to call it, is gone. It's just the pieces for the jacket. So yes, Drop Dead Fred. Rick Mayall, the British actor who played Drop Dead Fred, was one of the young ones. If you guys are as old as me, you will remember the young ones. Well, it's actually really snowing. It's not sticking, but it's really snowing. You'll remember the young ones. It was like a midnight television show from England. It was so good. This is another pattern that I have that was cut. I almost feel like we saw these. Did we see these? I feel like we did. Yeah, I think we did because we talked about the giant shorts, right? I'm going to show them to you guys real fast, and I won't talk about them because I think we already did. I feel like these are leftover from last week, and somehow I forgot to put them away. Oh, yeah, like this one. It's in a bag. Sorry. Yeah, see, I feel like we did these ones last week because I kind of remember this one, right? With the vest. I don't know, you guys will stop me, but it also may just be that the patterns are starting to blend together in my brain because they're so similar. I have so many dresses like this and jumpers like this that after a while I start to think that I've already seen them, and I haven't. I just think I've seen them. So we talked about this last week too. Tons of short sets. So now we're officially in the 90s. When you see this small see and sew with the stripe on the one side, we're officially in the 90s. Lots of short sets. Some culottes. This is 2 pieces, including these giant culottes. And then there's this. Okay, do you guys remember this? So this is 1 piece. And then you put the shirt on underneath. Here, I'll give you the close-up of the line drawings. And you wear these together, right?